Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Show 127. I am Beatles123, also known as Matt, and this will be a very urgent and special edition because it will be a wrestling edition because we have some very, very sad, shocking, and unfortunate news to report. And I'm going to be totally serious during this podcast because the wrestling world has lost a really, really influential legend in the past day or so. If Matrix Lord could screen share the information, I'll be happy to read it for you all.
Okay.
All right.
You want me to read it?
Soon as it comes up here, hold on. Okay. It says, WWE is shocked and deeply saddened to learn of the passing of. It's a little bit chicken scratching on the screen.
I'll read it.
Yeah.
WWE is shocked and deeply saddened to learn of the passing of one of the most iconic WWE superstars ever, the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior began his WWE career in 1987 and quickly went on to become one of the biggest stars in WWE history. Warrior became the WWE champion at WrestleMania 6, defeating Hulk Hogan in an epic encounter. We are grateful that just days ago, Warrior had the opportunity to take his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame and was also able to appear at WrestleMania 30 and Monday Night Raw to address his legions of fans. WWE sends its sincere condolences to the Warrior's family, friends, and fans. Warrior was 54 and is survived by his wife Dana and his 2 daughters.
And I have to say, my first reaction when Matrix sent this to me, I literally had to spend about 5 seconds in sheer shock and read the message about 3 or 4 times to make sure this was accurate, because last night, what are you even talking about this? I mean, just this year, it was announced that he was coming back for the WWE 2K14 video game, and there was all this speculation. Was it going to come back to TV? Was it going to have like a Legends deal where he would have only semi-appearances? Was it going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Now, Warrior and Vince McMahon had been at odds for a number of years, actually. They were 2 people who did not always get along. In fact, even in his Hall of Fame induction ceremony, people were speculating what was he going to say, because this has always been a controversial guy, somebody who did not always agree with how they operated as a company, feels that he was screwed over by a bunch of propaganda that he feels they put out on their Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD, which was basically like a DVD slanderizing him, saying he was one of the most unprofessional guys, didn't really care about the business, only wanted money. And this sparked a huge, huge wave of controversy over him because he was known as one of the more, me-oriented guys from the company's point of view. So when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the fact he was even back in the video game was surprising because he was one of those superstars for a long time that we thought were blacklisted from the company, a la Randy Savage, unfortunately. But when he did come back, everything was positive. Everything was, he had only good things to say. He sounded like he invents and finally buried the hatchet. And at his Hall of Fame induction ceremony, he does ramble. Like, he does go on the classic Warrior tirade of, not really understanding where he's going. I guess he's just that kind of individual. But you could tell that for as long as he talked, he got things off of his chest. He openly admitted on the microphone, hey guys, the DVD you put out was wrong, and it hurt me, but I'm just glad to be back now. It was a really honest interview, and even the following night at WrestleMania, he was there. The following last night at Raw, he was there, and he put on the Ultimate Warrior mask and did a classic promo and thanked all his fans. I'm in shock. I don't know what to say.
I remember when I was a kid and I went to when wrestling was in high schools, WWF, and I saw him in high school wrestling when he first started out, and I remember going to Raw and the different events. I went to WrestleMania and stuff, and it was just amazing. You know, even if I didn't get to see him live in person, but he was one of my favorites. And he's unforgettable. I mean, he was definitely the one that beat Hulk Hogan. And anybody who was anybody knows that Hulk Hogan was the biggest thing back then. And for that person to beat him, he became the top guy for a time.
Yeah, all I have to really say is, no matter what you think about the Warrior, personally as a human being, he, as a superstar, was unique. He was the first and probably last of his kind to bring that sheer sense of what the hell is this kind of intensity to a wrestler. And I swear to God, nobody understood what he was saying in his promos except a few lines such as "load the spaceship with the rocket fuel and blast off into it." Like he would just be all the kinds of over the top. Like you didn't know what he was saying. You just wanted to watch him. But like I said, to say that I just saw him last night, and he was fine, and now it's so much more poignant because the things that he said were actually kind of eerie. He said that when I'm gone, you know, he said you guys will make the memory of the Ultimate Warrior live forever, and you are the people who will do the same for all of these young guys that are coming up to the ranks. You will decide whether they're legends or not. So it's a pretty bone-chilling message now that I have to put it in the context. And honestly, with you, I don't know what to say except that people who want to learn about the Ultimate Warrior, I encourage you to learn both sides because there is a positive way to look at him and there is a negative way. WWE feels that this was a guy who, according to the stories, got into a huge fight with Vince over money. WWE supposedly sent him a rather classless letter saying that you're only worth this much in his mind. And of course, depending on who you ask, you get different spins on the whole subject. But I encourage you to look at both sides and pick who you think was in the right or wrong. Obviously, he does get a bad rap as one of those guys who was only about himself and the business and, just wanted to be top guy. But if you go and look at his DVD that was just released this week, actually, it's the story told from Warrior's point of view and how he feels that, he was never, that people have tried to delegitimize the name of the Ultimate Warrior, in his words. So, I don't know where I stand on it, to be honest, because, there is two very different stories that are told. But I know that as
it's true that less than 24 hours ago he was on Raw, right?
Yes, exactly. Again, it's Tuesday. Last night, Monday night, he came out live and he did a segment in the ring, put on the Warrior mask, actually cut a Warrior promo saying that all you guys were going to make the new legends. And it was pretty, there was no point to it. No angle was done. He didn't, run to the ring or anything like that. But he did put on the Warrior mask and, thank the fans. And I'm just shocked. Again, last night, you could probably find video footage of that on the internet by now.
I'm just trying to find out the cause of death.
Me too. I don't know what to say. It's just so shocking. Again, to think that I just saw him last night and he looked all right.
Triple H, I think Triple H was the first to comment.
Mm-hmm.
He said he tweeted actually minutes ago, or no, actually less than an hour ago. Triple H had said, "Saddened to announce the passing of the Ultimate Warrior. icon and friend. My sympathy to his wife Dana and his daughters. Curtis Axel had tweeted, shocked and very saddened to hear about the Ultimate Warrior passing. Prayers go out to his family. Rest in peace. Lots of words.
Now,
Hornswoggle said, this is absolutely horrific news. After just meeting my hero yesterday, finding out about the Ultimate Warrior passing is unbelievable, speechless. So, and let me say, Matt, that this news is so fresh. I mean, right now it is 12:33 a.m. Now, I had sent it to you. I think it was
just a few minutes ago.
I sent it to you at 12:18. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just to put this into context, I mean, this is coming off the heels of a WrestleMania that, you know, the way they booked the show was
actually wait. I don't know what time of death was, but I sent you at 12:08. But it must have just happened about an hour ago, less than an hour ago.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that the way they built up this WrestleMania, even from the opening package of WrestleMania, you know, the whole first segment, it had Hogan, it had Austin, and it had The Rock in the ring. And they talked about how basically this was the 30th anniversary, and, you know, we would be nothing without you fans, and without you there wouldn't be a guy who is going up against the boss like Stone Cold did, you know, without the superstars that did it before him. So it's like, on the WrestleMania, that was really the transition period between the previous generation and the new generation. You had Daniel Bryan beating Triple H and later Batista and Randy Orton in the same night to become the world champion, even though he's, you know, a young, scrawny, different-looking guy. Finally getting to the top of the mountain. This should have been a happy time for wrestling fans. And now this happening just a day later after the Raw afterward. It's just shocking and it's terrible.
I don't even know what to say.
I mean, there's a good side to wrestling right now. It should be a happy time when you see all this new talent that's ascending and coming out, finally getting their shot and taking the ball and running with it and ushering the new era, so to speak. And now this happens. Couple that with the fact that, I don't know if you heard about this show, but just to go off topic for a little bit, but WrestleMania, The Undertaker was defeated. The streak was defeated. He's now 21-1 at the hands of Brock Lesnar. But that's a whole other subject. That's the sentiment. We're not quite sure yet what's gonna happen. Some people were speculating that Sting was gonna come out and challenge The Undertaker, but that never happened yet. So, but yeah, I'm just saying to put into context how you see certain eras coming to an end while certain eras began, and now for this to happen. After being finally accepted back in the company and getting a Hall of Fame speech and being a new ambassador for the company, and it's, I don't know what to say. It's just so shocking. It's just surreal.
It's too fresh.
Again, to say that I just saw him last night and he was doing this big heartfelt thank you speech after all the scrutiny, again, all the bitter feuding with the company that he did, to finally be back, allowed to go in the ring and bury that and say thank you right after being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then die? Really? I cannot understand this. I can't.
Maybe Steve's reporting it now too.
Really?
He'll be on Good Morning America tomorrow.
Yeah, there he is right there. Look at him. He looks fine.
We don't know, dude. We don't know what happened.
54. Jesus.
Spoiler. Guess they die young.
You know what? And now that I'm thinking about it, and I really I hate to sound disrespectful at the time of death like this, but I hope no chicanery is involved, especially with all the rumors that Warrior was always a heavy steroid user. I hope none of that
we can't.
is
We
involved.
have no idea what the cause of death was. We'll probably do a follow-up on it tomorrow. let's just tonight, I guess, pay our respects. That's it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
not tarnish
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
so fresh now.
And you know, he finally buried the hatchet. All that bitterness
Yeah,
was in the past. He got to release a DVD of himself to tell the story from his point of view
unbelievable.
instead of the company. So it's like the day after he exercises those demons, he dies. I mean, could
Oh,
anything be
so
more
dude,
surreal? I mean,
I'm sorry.
I bet if you go on YouTube, you can find that speech that he gave just last night on from Raw, just last night.
Yeah. What do you say, Tim?
I don't know what to say. I don't follow this, but it maybe be cancer of some kind,
I
or you
don't
don't want
know,
to
dude.
speculate at this
I don't.
point.
I don't know. There's no way we know.
Doesn't say
It's
an
odd that
answer.
he would appear last night and then just suddenly,
Yeah, no, that's not good.
especially as young as 54. So
Yeah, not cool.
The one thing we can take solace is again, at least it's not like a deal like it was with Macho Man Randy Savage, where you know he never Macho Man never got that chance to bury the hatchet with the company after jumping ship to WCW.
Hmm.
His signs were always confiscated. You couldn't bring anything mentioning Randy Savage to the show without getting it taken away. And, you know, there was always this bitterness toward Randy Savage that never seemed to get resolved until he was finally allowed to appear in a few video games shortly before his death. But again, there was never any on-screen closure in the company. Never got his Hall of Fame induction before his passing. With Warrior, it's like at least all those demons, I hope, are exorcised. That's all I can hope and pray for. Really.
The only thing I could say is there's more wrestlers coming out. Hulk Hogan said Warriors. He said, rest in peace, Warrior, only love. Versus HH.
Yep. And if you watch his Hall of Fame speech, he does, you know, everybody leading up to this Hall of Fame speech was all like, oh boy, what's Warrior gonna say? I mean, you know, is he gonna go on one of his rants? Is he gonna bash the company? Is he gonna, you know, and he knew it too when he got up to the microphone. He said, "This is the most anticipated Hall of Fame speech of all time." And sure enough, he did ramble, and he rambled, and he rambled, and he talked about how, you know, the DVD was wrong, and, you know, there were some times where Vince McMahon did things to me that I don't appreciate, you know, but he bashed Vince where he deserved bashing, but he also thanked him for a lot of things. And for him to get up there and let it all be aired out, I mean, some people might, I mean, there are people who, quite frankly, disrespect Warrior for the way he carried himself in his opinions of the company. Because as far as they were concerned, there are some people who buy into the theory that he was rather self-centered and didn't have a mind for the business. But either way you look at it, whichever side you take, for him to get up there and make peace within himself about it and air out what he wanted to say, and then be accepted back in the company and just let bygones be bygones. That, I feel, is at least something we can take solace in this time of mourning.
And I guess we'll have more news tomorrow, man, Edwards. I'm sure.
Yes, and again, I just want to say that this is a very shocking and, quite frankly, emotional moment for all the wrestling world, whether they love or hate Ultimate Warrior. They cannot deny his legacy and what he brought to the table of wrestling. And really, as we learn more about this, again, I just hope no chicanery was involved, and I hope that wherever Warrior is, he is resting in peace. And again, although this is a bitter time, we can take comfort in the fact that what happened in the last few days or so of him being on this earth was positive for him.
Well, the
And
last 24 hours, right?
yes, and hopefully that is enough to give him peace in his rest. And again, this should be a positive time for wrestling, all things considered. So I hope that some people who might be older fans might, look at this and say, well, he was right. There are good wrestlers coming out, that are the legends of the future. So rest in peace, Warrior, and may God bless you, and I hope that you're in peace wherever you're at now.